What is up, the homies and the homettes? It's your boy. I'm super stoked. Yesterday we got in a new to me rod. It's a 2016 Megabass Destroyer, and I believe it's pronounced Elese, E-L-E-S-E. But it's an F0. So I was hoping that in ordering an older rod with an F0 rating, that it would be slightly above what the Aello is now at the F0. So F0 is ultralight to almost like extra ultralight, I would say. It could be just that the Aello bends way down in the blank, but it felt a little mushy, and it really topped out at 3/16. Excuse me. The most weight I could throw and feel comfortable was the Megabass Griffin, as far as plugging baits. So this Elese is a hard bait, plugging rod, whatever you want to call it. It's for top water and jerks. It's got that moderate action that you need to you know, rip cranks and twitch jerks. I made that comment on Reddit, and somebody, I think, got offended, downvoted it. Anyhow, so that's what we're gonna be doing. Is I'm just gonna go through the entire weight range, because it says it's 1/16 to ½ ounce. Now, for funsies, while I was on the job today, I took it out and just tossed some stuff in the yard over at the wastewater facility, and at 3/8 ounce, it handles pretty well. It feels like 3/8 is kind of pushing the upper limits. I think that this would feel more at home with like 1/4 ounce, but I've got tons of lures to throw. I'm gonna start off with that 110 Junior from Megabass, which is a 3/8 ounce, which is what I was practicing with, and then I'll go down from there and see kind of how the rod behaves with the lighter stuff, the more traditional BFS, I guess. Because the 3/8 is what I would consider like far end of BFS, like about as heavy as you would want to go and still call it BFS. I also, my jigging rod is 1/16 through ½ ounce, and it does really well. It does everything from you know, the tiny jigs, the 1/32 ounce with a trailer ends up being like 1/16 ounce. So it does do, the jigging rod, the Arc Invoker that I have, does do that lower end stuff. I haven't pushed the Arc Invoker to the, you know, heavier limit. But I have a feeling that this is gonna be really good. It's gonna be what I'm looking for. I really wanted to throw the regular size Pop X, and that's what kind of inspired me to get this slightly heavier rod, heavier power, I guess, is what I would say. But so far it does feel like a medium light to light. We'll see how it fishes. That'll be the determining factor. If it feels too mushy in the water, then I may have to find something that's got a different weight range, something that I can throw those heavier. I will definitely keep that, absolutely. You know, coming across a 2016 Destroyer in the condition that it's in, with the wood reel C, and just the fit and finish of it is beautiful. And I like how the older rods have slightly larger guides. For me, the micro guides are kind of a nuisance. I know they're there for sensitivity, yada yada, but I don't like the little tink that I feel when I'm retrieving. you know, you're limited on your knots. They have to be smooth inline knots, which is not a problem for me because I tie probably one of the thinnest, strongest knots. If you're curious which one that is, you can go check out my other videos, because I do have a tutorial on my favorite knot for main to leaders. But besides all that, we're almost at the spot. I'm gonna toss a few lures and see how I like it. I've got about half hour to 45 minutes to kill before I get home and prepare the house for the hurricane that is my children. I love them, but they're absolutely bonkers. Anyhow, I'll see you out on the water. We at the spot. Here's that destroyer. Elese 1/16 to ½ ounce, 2 to 12 pound line, 6 foot. The thing that people don't get is most of the time when they list lengths, it's the blank, not the handle as well, because I'm telling you right now, the Aello is a 6'3", but the handle's short on it, and I feel like this is almost exactly the same. I'd have to get out a measuring tape to make sure, but I want to say this is on the long side for a 6 foot. Titanium frame guides, so you know it's not going to rust out or get nasty. We like that. I got that 110 Vision 110 Junior that we're going to be slinging here to start off, and this one is in French pearl, so it's got little red sparkles. We're men, we fish. It's called flake. It's sparkles. Cut it out. But the French pearl, I guess, has more of a blue hint, where typically you'll see like a pinkish to purplish hue with regular pearls. So just a little bit of bend in that tip telling me that it's going to load pretty well. I was slinging this around the yard at work. It felt okay. We're gonna fish it now and see how this handles. Definitely feels stiffer. Launches them. I'm only going to do a few casts. I'm not expecting to catch bass. It's a little cold today. I'm just going to do a few casts per lure because I want to do a weight range and test this 1/16 to ½ ounce, how accurate it is. It feels crisp. I was a little worried at 3/8 ounce on this 110 Junior that it wouldn't feel crisp. It would feel mushy. Usually that's what happens when you go close to the end of the weight range, right? We'll do one more out that way. But so far I'm liking it. I must have loosened that drag up quite a bit. I think this was the that is why, is because I had this for the trout rod before I sold the other Calcutta. I did own two. I only own one now. I switched up the trout rod to the Daiwa Silver Creek. So I like the way this fishes on the 110. 3/8 is perfectly acceptable. So 3/8 is around 10 grams. I know in BFS land we like to do grams and fractions of ounces, so I'm gonna try and streamline everything for you and give you both sides of the business. So up next would be the Pop-X in 1/4 ounce, right? No, 1/4 ounce is 7.5, so we're gonna leave that in there. The next heaviest thing I have is actually this Great Hunting Butterfly, the larger size. This is a 8.1 grams, which is like 5/16 of an ounce. So we're gonna ditch that 110, although I love the way this looks and the way it fishes. I'm gonna have to make some more room in my tackle box for it. So spinners are going over there, I guess. I'll have to move these buzz bees up there for now. Take that out, put that in. Does that fit? Oh boy, we got issues already. I'll have to mess with my tackle box later. That kind of fits. It fits. It's good enough. Yeah. What am I hitting here? Oh, there. That'll close. Okay. Yeah, that 110 is going to take up some major space here in the old tackle box. But you know what? Let's just leave it open, honestly, because we're going to be flipping through lures. So next up, like I said, that Butterfly, 8.1 grams, around 5/16 ounce. Feels very similar, you know, typical moderate action. Still, you know, good twitch feel. Still feels crisp. Obviously it's going to feel even more crisp as the weight goes down. We'll see how much rod tip twitching I can get when the weight gets lighter. I have a feeling that towards the end of the lighter end of my fishing gear is going to be, it might be a little bit too stiff for this rod, but the casting is phenomenal. We're getting out there, you know, 80-90 feet, easy peasy. The rod is comfortable. It's a little bit weightier in the back end than I'm used to, but overall feels pretty good. I think we'll take one more in that back pocket and get the retrieve going over here. Of course, I pick a windy day to do this. Ding dong. But hey, that's where the power BFS side of things comes into play. All right, that fishes well, as I suspected. Let's go down a little bit. So that was 8.1. Excuse my dirty hands, it's rust. I had to turn some rusty valves today for work. Okay, next will be the Pop-X. So this is 1/4 ounce, 7.5. See how the distance is on this bad Larry? Good, very good. I can probably turn down the brakes a little bit. Get that popping action. Oh, it's got a nice scoop. This is the kind of action that I was looking for with a Pop X. You get a nice scoop. I did that one a little bit hard, and I got into some bushes over here. Muffing things up because I'm not paying attention. Ugh. Let's try that one again. Since I decided to catch a bush. Subdued is better. I'm used to really whipping that Aello and it being kind of mushy. This one is just twitches. Will get you that pop. At the far end of your cast, you can do more of a snap and get a big gulp, but you don't really want it jumping. You kind of want it just walking. So that works. 1/4 ounce. Again, trying that back pocket. I've caught bass over there, so that's why I keep wanting to go that way. My wind's kind of taking me over there. Ugh, it is literally just blowing my bait to the side. I didn't even retrieve it and it moved like 5 feet. Should really probably be doing straight braid with this instead of a leader. I'd probably have better luck, but anyhow. I have to do this awkward bend with the chesty so you guys can see. Didn't realize I was probably out of frame there. Okay, works well. I'm able to get the correct action. 1/4 ounce, good to go. So 1/4 through 3/8 is superb. Unfortunately, I don't have anything in 1/2 ounce to try. I mean, to me, that's not really BFS once you're in that 1/2 ounce range, but to each their own. Let's see. Ooh. I think next down from 1/4 would be 3/16 ounce on the Mega Bass Griffin. This was a fish catcher a couple months ago, dude. I hammered like 5 bass on this very reservoir with this crankbait, so this should be fun. We'll see how the 3/16 feels. That's around 5 grams. It's 5 point something or other, so we'll test that out, see how that feels. And we're getting down there as far as light stuff. This is where, to me, true BFS starts to happen. We're out of that wind. We're out of the so-called power range of BFS, and we're into the more typical things that you would find. I should have left a split ring on that. I have a habit of taking off the split rings on all my lures because I just think they get in the way, but that one almost needs it because that hooking point is deep into that bill. Anyhow, I'm still getting the similar resistance. It's starting to feel a little bit floatier on casting. Probably go down brakes again. I started jerking it. I forgot what I was using here. Feels good. There's less resistance. I can tell that the action's happening, but it's more subdued. With the Aello, you would almost get like false bite feelings. This one just feels like taut line. Little bit of vibration, just taut line in general. This is how I imagined it should have felt. Not saying that the Aello can't handle this and that it doesn't do well with it. It just feels minutely better on this rod. One more in the pocket and then we'll go down. Oof. We went a little bit further than I wanted to, and I'm probably gonna get stuck on something. Yep, that bush. Son of a bitch. These little bushes that are over here, whatever. That was a muffed up cast on my part and retrieve, so that's all right. The crank works. So I'm very happy that this fits a lot of treble hook needs right out the gate. So let's get down to, what are the Karashis? I forget what their weight range is. I think it's 3/16, same as the others. This is the IGX 60, so a little bit downsized. Yeah. I could probably just throw the regular Great Hunting, because we're down to, after this 3/16, we're down to like 3.5 and 4 gram lures. So rather than messing around with the Karashi IGX, because it's too windy for topwater anyhow, let's just call this one good. Come on, suffering succotash. I don't think I had covers on this. I don't know. I'm probably gonna lose track here. So yeah, let's go down to this smaller butterfly. So I threw the larger one. Let's throw the smaller one. This one's about, I think it's 4.2 or 4.1 grams on the butterfly. It's just a little bit bigger of a body than some of these flat sides. So we've done 10, 8, 7, and 5 grams, thereabouts. I'm rounding. So let's get down to the 4s and 3s. This one I'm pretty sure is a 4.2. You can look up these weights yourself. I know we don't like to do work these days. Everything is a job. But anyhow. Oh, we are overbraked. Way to the left on that one. Feels good. I'm still... This is how my trout rod feels. This is amazing, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm still getting the twitches that I need, and I'm able to impart the action that I typically get for these lures on something that's 1/16 to ½ ounce. I just can't believe it. I honestly thought this is where it would die off, where I wouldn't get the motion. but I think it's the length. It's like a magic length, because honestly, this feels exactly like a 4'6" glass rod, and it's a 6-foot carbon. And we're getting the distance once I turn those brakes down. And the accuracy is there too, which is nice. I can see my bait kind of reflecting in the water, and I'm getting the action I need. I'm gonna call that a win. So we're all the way down to 4 grams, which means we're about 1/8 ounce, and we're still doing well. So what do I throw now? I've gone down below quarter. And I guess we go with this tiny flat side. Let's see what the weight is on this before I throw it. What is the weight of Great Hunting 45 flat side minnow?
Would you like me to use ChatGPT?
Yes, Siri, because you suck at life. Working. What is the weight of the Mega Bass Great Hunting flat side 45 minnow? There you go. 1.7 grams or 1/16 ounce. This is the tail end of what that is listed at. So I knew that this one was light. This one might even be honestly a little bit lighter because I swap out those trebles. I mean, maybe it's about the same, because this is those new attachment points. This is a newer flat side, so they come with pretty thin wire trebles. If you don't know, now you know. They're kind of worthless. They'll last like maybe 2 or 3 catches and they're bent out. I don't even try them. I think I tried them one time and was like, oh, this is just a pain in the ass. If I'm gonna have this thin wire, I might as well have a single hook. But here you go. The last one within the weight range, the 1/16 ounce. Overbraked, definitely. I should probably not have 1.0 go for my line throwing this also. But hey, when in Rome, right? Still overbraked. I don't know that I can compensate enough with the brakes for how thick of a line I'm using. This really should be like a 0.8 go, is more comfortable. Maybe even 0.6 for this 1/16 ounce. But it casts and I get the action. You tend to lose feeling with your twitches at this weight range. And I think that is why this is at the low end. Yeah, distance is suffering quite a bit. I am casting into the wind. It is 1/16 ounce. But this is where my trout rod excels and where I would probably keep this for just bass lures. It should want to go. But yeah, I think 1/16 is like a misnomer. Like, I can do it. Maybe with thinner line it would work better. But this is definitely the tail end of the light stuff for this rod, which is okay, because the reason I stepped away from the Aello is because it was too light of an action. And for my bass lures, I don't really do anything 1/16. I don't know how much is the rod loading and how much is the line that's spooled, and then also casting into the wind. This may be able to do better if I had proper line on here. So maybe we start spooling up with 0.8 on the bass rod too, just to accommodate for lures. I don't know. Felt pretty good with that 110 Junior, and I miss throwing those. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, spool tension, ding dong. I haven't adjusted spool tension on this whole time. I haven't adjusted spool tension. I'm at 1/10 the weight that I was at before, and I haven't adjusted. Yeah, that's why. Okay, maybe we'll get the distance now. Better. Good. It does what it says. I don't know how it's doing it. 1/16 to ½ ounce seems ridiculous. I don't have ½ ounce to test that. Maybe I should have bought the regular 110 as well to see how that felt. But I'm gonna say great success here. Borat style. Great success. And there it is. Megabass Custom. That's a wrap, literally, for the rod, and my review on it. Yeah, I really enjoy the 2016 Elese. The only drawback I would say is probably the weight of it, and it seems like most of that is in the handle from the wooden reel seat, and the thickness of the cork is just probably more than it needs to be. But yeah, man, it'll do 1/16. I assume all the way up to ½ ounce, though the 3/8 felt like it might get a little too sluggish at that ½ ounce. So ½ ounce is really pushing it, but it'll throw the 110 Junior all the way down to the flat side minnows, provided that you have your reel adjusted appropriately. Really, it's the taper of the rod that helps it do that. So you're not going to get loading down the rod. You won't get as much distance with the 1/16 ounce, but I was casting out like 60 to 70 feet, which is pretty good for a rod that's rated 1/16 to ½ ounce. And then the 3/8 ounce, I was able to huck that a country mile because it would load up further down the rod, making it more moderate, or tend to be slow, I would guess, at ½ ounce. So it does everything well. I could use that as a river setup. I could use that as a lake and pond, which is where I will be using it probably more often than not, as a bass setup for jerk baits on lakes and ponds. But very impressed. It did exactly what it said it would do, and I'm happy. I might change the grips on them at some point. I might do my own little split grip at the bottom just to save some weight, but I think I'm gonna fish it as is for a while before I decide to modify it at all, if I do decide to modify it at all. So that's it, man. Yeah, thumbs up, double thumbs up on the 2016 model. Like I said, a little bit heavier, but that's a happy trade-off for being able to throw the power BFS stuff. The Aello really maxed out at 3/16. I couldn't even do the 1/4 ounce stuff. Like, it was just too heavy. You get that overloaded rod that kind of feels like it's underhanding things. It's kind of lobbing the lure rather than getting that crisp overhand throw. You know, if I were to liken it to playing baseball, you know, you want that crisp, powerful overhand throw when you're side casting, and that kind of momentum and trajectory. And it becomes more and more of an arc the heavier you go. So having a rod that can do all of my hard baits, like everything from, you know, my tiny little 1.7 or whatever gram that is, I said it in the clips, correct me if I'm wrong, but I looked up the flat side minnow in 45, and yeah, it was right down there, 1/16. So kudos to Megabass for making great rods even early in the game. 2016 model, still worth getting if you can find it. I will not be going back to the Aello. I think that this thing does more just as well. So I'm happy. It's going to be in the arsenal indefinitely until something else maybe pops up further down the line. But this is the only jerkbait in my research that handles that weight range that well. There's a lot of people that have these lure ratings that say they're going to be this good, and then you find out, well, it's really just in the middle of that lure range where it really excels. And that's still the case with Megabass. It excels at that 1/4 ounce, 3/8, but it doesn't do the 1/16 ounce poorly, which is impressive. So it does everything well. It just does certain things a little bit better. So anyhow, that's going to do it for this one. Until the next one, toss the tiny stuff, catch the big stuff. YouTube, so